Hi everybody, this is Campbell-Birch and welcome to the 6th and final episode of Series 1 of my tutorial series. There will be a Series 2, just not for a little while, and this will be the last one coming to you from here in Reno at the Eldorado showroom. Today's episode is all about pullbacks, but just before we get started today, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everyone that's given me support so far, everyone that's watched my videos, everyone that's shared them around, everyone that's given me feedback. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that people are finding these videos useful, because that was the whole point in doing them. As I've said before, if you haven't already, and you wouldn't mind subscribing to my YouTube channel, liking my page on Facebook, Ryan Campbell-Birch Tap Dancer, that support goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. So thank you in advance for that. Okay, let's take a look at the step. Let's get started. Okay, so just before we get into the sequence, I want to talk briefly about the technique behind what we're doing in our pullback. So we're going to use 3 pullbacks today. We're going to have a separated pullback on 2 feet. We're going to have a pullback changing from one leg to the other. And we're going to have a pullback that just stays on one leg. And all of them are going to happen on both legs. So we want to just talk briefly about the technique behind our pullback. This will be what some of you do already. This will be the opposite from what some of you guys do, which is why I just want to give you a brief explanation of what I'm doing and why it works for me, why I find it useful. So if I turn side on, I've got both feet on the floor, both feet are going to go at the same time. I've got my weight on the balls of my feet. Even if my heels aren't all the way off the floor, that's where the weight is. There's no weight on the heels. I mean, this nice springy position. Think chest or shoulders right over your toes. You're just ready to bounce. Then, seeing we have to straighten our leg to jump, we continue that extension and we try and have a relaxed ankle. That gives us our hit on the floor. That happens while we're in the air. Then we land. So we should get straight legs in the air. You will find, as you work on this technique more and more, you may not even have to reach a full extension to get the relaxation out of the ankle and get the beat. That's when you can start adding extra beats in there and use your full extension to gain another sound. We'll talk about that at the end. So we're going from a bent leg, hitting a straight leg in the air, landing back on bent legs. As opposed to maybe going from very flat feet and kicking our legs back up behind us. Like that works. Sometimes you might want to use that. But for me, as a general rule, I'm trying to work through an extension, find it to be very efficient, and I find it helps me with the clarity of my beats. So that's what I'm doing today. If you want to apply that to your work, then cool. If you don't want to, that's cool too. It's up to you. I'm just saying this is what works for me, so that's what I'm sharing with you. Okay, let's take a look at the sequence. Okay, so to start the sequence, you're going to drop onto your left leg, so I'm going to drop onto my right, and you're going to do 4 shuffle pullbacks until we get back to the 1. So that's a shuffle and our pullback changing leg. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then from that 1, we're going to go into shuffle, pullback staying on one leg, then this comes down to a flap. And you're going to do that twice. So that still goes 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So I just turn sideways. We do the drop, weights forwards. Shuffle happens slightly to the back, depending on where you like to place it. Let's say side to back. Then the pullback is happening on with an extension in the air. Meanwhile, the other leg is coming up and over the top to come down to the flap. So we get And we want to have control not only on the way up in the pullback, but on the way down with the flat. We don't want that to fall out at the bottom. We want to keep it on a 16th note. So also by this leg going from the shuffle, coming up over the top, that's giving us some lift in the air because all our weight's coming up. So then we do need to control it on the way down. So what we're going to do is do 2 of them, followed by 2 flaps, and that's going to get us back to the 1. So that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So the 2 flaps are also on 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So if we add that on with the first section, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from that 1, 2 more of the shuffle pullback flap coming up over the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's up to you how you want to prep. I'm just going to do a little dig on one leg, on my right leg, and go into 3 separated pullbacks on 2 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might want to jump with both feet to get in that, to get your spring going. You might want to stamp it down on a flat foot. Personally, I try to keep something a little bit lighter, a little bit more springy. That's going to get me into my step. So if we add that on the end, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then that's the end of the first side. Finished on the 4. So you've got your weight on your back leg. Drop it down onto the front leg. Start on the other side. So that'll be my left or your right leg. So you drop onto the left leg on the first side, right leg on the second side. But before we do the second side, let's turn it around and let's just look at the first side from start to finish, a little bit closer up. Here we go. Okay, so we just finished the separated pullbacks on the first side, and then we're going to drop onto the right leg, and we're going to start the second side. Nothing really changes here except for the pullbacks at the end are separated on the other leg. But all the other steps, it's all pretty symmetrical. We're just starting on the other leg. So I'm dropping onto my left, which is your right, the second side. Let's go steady. We get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that a little bit faster. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So remember, when you're separating the pullbacks, chances are you're going to have one side that's stronger than the other. So for me, I always prefer leading with my right leg. So my left leg is the last one doing the landing. So when I'm on the other side, my left leg is leading. I'm thinking about my right leg, thinking about that full stop. Very short sentence, 4 beats in your sentence, but thinking about that last sound. At the same time, I'm trying not to be separated too far this way. I'm trying to work things from a relatively parallel position, so it's easier to center your weight over it. Then also, you've got the freedom to move it around. Whereas if you're stuck in this one front, one back position, it can be kind of limiting. So that's something to think about with your separated pullbacks. Okay, let's turn around. Let's take a look at the second side, then we'll put the whole thing together. Okay, so we've taken a look at both sides. If you need to go back and look at either side, now's a good time to go and do that. And then now we're going to put them both together. Do it once facing camera, then we'll turn it around, we'll get a close-up, and then we'll do the same thing with music. Today I've chosen Flight Facilities. They're a really cool group, they've got good music, and because a lot of it's got a very housey groove, it lends itself really well to elevated work. So that's why I've chosen it today. So I'm going to drop on my right, which is your left. First side, straight into second side, then we'll turn around and take a closer look. We go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Let's turn around, take a close up. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. I hope you found the exercise useful. Just before we sign off, a couple of extra things you can play around with. Firstly, most of our exercise was based on a 16th note. Try playing around with elevated work and triplets. The shuffle pull back into the flat lends itself perfectly to your double time triplet. So you've got 1 and 2 and diddly 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 diddly. That fits in 1, 2, 3, 4. Diddly 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 diddly. So it fits in perfectly. Another thing you can play around with is trying to get an extra sound out of your pullback. So at the moment we're doing one sound with our extended leg, then we have our landing. We want to try and get 2 sounds out of the extended leg. So if we keep the ankle relaxed, and especially once you find that you get more comfortable and you get efficient with this technique, you'll find you get the one sound very easily. You might not even have to use the full extension to get the sound. So then, if we work the full extension, we keep the relaxation, we can double up that sound. So we get 3 sounds out of our pullback. Then that can also be applied to 1 foot, to changing foot, to separated pullbacks. You can even use the same technique in your wings if you want an extra sound on the side. So there's a whole load of possibilities that come from using this extension to get a sound rather than this. This is going to work sometimes, especially if you want to spend a long time in the air. But if you want to fit a lot of sounds in and you want to be really efficient, for me, I like the extension. I find it really useful. Once more, just before we sign off, thank you to everyone that has subscribed and liked my page on Facebook. If you haven't already, and again, if you wouldn't mind doing so, I'd really appreciate it. And it will really help me going into Series 2. So that's my YouTube channel, Ryan C-Birch, and Facebook is Ryan Campbell-Birch Tap Dancer. If you could just like the page, that would be awesome. Until Series 2, thank you very much.